Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right, I have my box with a towel on it. Today we're gonna make bath bombs. Raise your hand up high and wave it in the sky if you like bath bombs. I can see you waving at home. So hopefully you have tried bath bombs before. We're gonna talk a little bit today about the science behind our bath bombs. Let's go over our ingredient list. We need some baking soda. If you have baking soda at home, hold it up. Hold up your baking soda. Then next we need citric acid. Citric acid. Try to say that at home because it's kind of tricky. Can you say citric acid? Citric acid. Now, do you think this baking soda is an acid or a base? Acid or base? If you remember, or if you've had me for previous lessons, you may know that baking soda is a base. Bubba baking soda, bubba base. Baking soda base. Baking soda base. Baking soda base. Now, what do you think our citric acid is? Do you think it's an acid or a base? If you said acid, that's right, and it's in the name already. Right? Okay, let's find it. Oh, where is it? There we go. Citric acid. It's an acid. Now, should we be scared because it's an acid? No, we don't need to be scared. And actually, bases don't like us very much. So this baking soda here is a base. And if you take this and you put it all over your skin and all over your body all by itself, your skin is probably not gonna like it very much. You might get itchy, you might get burny, you might get a rash. So it doesn't really like our skin. So why are we putting it in a bath bomb where our skin goes? Again, if you've had a class with me before, when you mix an acid and a base together, boom, it's called neutralization. So it makes it neutral. It won't hurt us anymore. Neutralization. Okay, so we went over 2 ingredients. I'm gonna print out my science journal right now because I thought I had it next to me. You know, I think I do. Hold on. Yes, okay, I do. So here it is. If you have your science journal, hold it up. Your science journal. Science journal! Ah! Get out of the way, citric acid! Get out of the way, baking soda! Let's go over our measuring utensils. We have 3 of them. Bing, bing, bing. The first one is a big cup. It's 1 whole cup. 1 whole cup. 1 whole cup. Now we need our smaller cup. This is a 1/4 cup. 1/4 or 1/4. 1/4 or 1/4. Our little baby cup. Now we need a little spoon. This is a measuring spoon. This is 1/2 of a teaspoon. It's very small. 1/2 of a teaspoon. 1/2 of a teaspoon. It's really little. I think it might be the smallest one I have. Maybe not. It's pretty small. All right, so we have these things together. 1 cup, 1/4 cup, and 1/2 teaspoon. What else do we need to make bath bombs? We need a bowl. Hold it up if you have a bowl. Bam! There's my bowl. Bam! There's my bowl. Now, anything else you want is optional. Like if you want, for example, sprinkles, ooh, color, ooh, scents, or what else you could do? Oh, a surprise toy inside. Or, for example, sometimes I'll use Kool-Aid packets, which makes it smell good and changes the color. Today I will be using these because I couldn't find Kool-Aid at Target. So this is grape drink mix, like what you put in water to drink. This is grape, so it'll make it smell really good like grapes. And I'm hoping it'll change the color a little bit. I might just use food coloring to cheat and change the color. You can also use soap dyes, which can change the color. All right, so first let's start with our Bubba Base baking soda. We're gonna fill up our 1 cup. Now be careful, pour slowly because we don't want it to poof up in our faces, right? So I went ahead and filled this up. I might need a little bit more. So maybe put a little more in, fill it all the way to the top of the cup. And when it's to the top, go ahead and pour it into your bowl. So we're adding it to our big bowl. Get my face away from it. I don't want to breathe it in. There we go. Okay. Now we need our smaller cup, And we're gonna put in our acid, our citric acid. And this one you really want to pour slowly because it can make you cough. So pour it slowly and kind of get your face away from it. Shield your face. Oh, I spilled it because I wasn't looking. There we go. All right, I'm gonna, I might have like too much. Actually, no, it's good. Okay, this is fine. So this is a citric acid. We're gonna pour this in. Okay, that's the citric acid in there. And mix. I'm just gonna use my little teaspoon and go ahead and mix it up very slowly. Mix, mix, mix. Now you can add anything fun that you have, unless it's a surprise toy. We're gonna add that at the end, okay? So if you wanna add in food coloring, sprinkles, Kool-Aid, I'm gonna add my drink mix powder now. You can add that now. So let me see, I'm gonna get this grape going and pour that in. Do, 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 do. I'm actually gonna pour a couple drops of food coloring in also. Ooh, what's happening? It's starting to bubble up. Just a little bit. Okay, let's mix, mix, mix. But mix slowly. And if you remember what happens when we have an acid and a base mixed together, it has a neutralizing effect, also known as neutralization. So neutralization. Now it's actually safe to touch it with your hands, but I'm gonna keep mixing with my spoon for a little bit. And then, I wanna use the same spoon to put water in. Okay, so I'm just getting that off there. All right, so the half teaspoon, we're gonna fill it up with water now. And let's observe and watch carefully what happens when we pour some water in. Ooh, it's fizzy! Oh, mix quickly. Oh, mix, mix, mix. Okay, so that was a little tiny teaser of what's gonna happen when we put this in our bathtub. All right, so this is really all the water you should need. So I'm gonna start mixing this now, and this is gonna be like the hardest part, is just mixing, mixing, mixing. So I hope you have some good strong muscles. We're gonna keep mixing. Okay, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves, ba-bam! And I'm gonna start mixing with my hands. I like to mix with my hands, unless you have really sensitive skin. You might not want to, but I like to mix with my hands because it helps me know when it's done. So mix, mix, mix. And I like to squeeze any little chunks that are in there. And so you'll know when it's done, when you can like squeeze it and it starts to stick to itself. It starts to stay together. If it just falls apart like dust, it's not quite ready. It has to stick to itself a little bit. So I'm mixing, 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 still mixing. So if you feel like there's just not enough water, oh man, it's just so dry and crumbly still, what's happening? Don't put water in right away. Wait at least 3 minutes of mixing before you add any water. And if you do, add a couple drops. You don't need a lot. If you add too much water, it's like you use up all the fizzy. Then when you put it in the bathtub, it won't fizz. Okay, so see, look at that. It's already starting to clump together a little bit. I'm gonna move the camera so you can see a little better actually. All right, so I'm getting there. This is what it looks like. And when I hold it up, it's still really powdery, but it's almost looking like packed sand, like wet sand a little bit. So it should stick together a little bit, but it's still pretty loose. So we don't want it to be too wet. It really will not stay in our molds if it's too wet. It'll continue expanding and it'll be a huge mess. So really be careful with the water. This is actually perfect with my half a teaspoon, the way it is already. And just mix, 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 and then we'll start packing them into our molds. Now, oh, my blue hands. This is the mold that I'm gonna use today. I do have the sphere molds, but I wanted to share this with anyone at home who doesn't have those. So if you have a muffin tray, an ice cube tray, or muffin tin, or whatever you want to call it, cupcake tin, you can pack them into here and it'll definitely work really well. So I have this for a mold today, so I'm gonna go ahead and start squishing my mixture into my mold. Now the trick is to squish and pack it in tight. The sad part about this class today is that it takes 2 hours until our bath bombs are actually ready, okay? So pack them in tight, wait 2 hours, then you can pop them out and they're ready to go. So I'm gonna squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and pack them in. Now, depending on the size of your mold is how many bath bombs this will make. My molds are pretty small, so I can make probably like 9 or 10 of them. If you have bigger ones, you might only be able to make 2. So it just depends. All right, I'm squeezing and mine smell really good. They smell like grapes, but I made them blue. I should have made it purple. All right. Or if you like green grapes, make it green. Getting the rest out of here. And don't forget, if you have a surprise toy, you want to put half of the mixture in. So you fill it up halfway, then you stick the toy in, and then you fill the rest of it up around the toy. So me and my children and I, we have done that before, put like little tiny toys in the middle. That was really cute and fun. You put like little dinosaur toys in, or I think they had like a little dolphin and a starfish or something like that that we put in. So squeeze them down, down, down. Okay. Oh, and this time I was only able to make 6. I must have really packed them in today because before I was able to make 9 or 10. Okay, so squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. There we go. And wait 2 hours. Now I'm gonna set these aside and I'll show you some that I've already made before. So even though they should seem pretty loose and powdery still, this is what they will look like after 2 hours. So this is one I made, but it doesn't really have a lot of color to it. So when I popped it out, you can see it's really hard. And it's ready to go in the bathtub. I have some other ones here that I made that are, well, they're kind of green. Let's see. They look kind of bluish green. So there's another example. So I'm gonna take one of the ones that I already made and I'm gonna put it in our bowl and then add water. What do you think will happen when I add some water? What is your hypothesis? I'm gonna plug this in here, bam! Done, bath bomb. I have a little bit of water here, bam! What do you think will happen? When we added our half a teaspoon of water earlier, do you remember what happened? It got all fizzy and bubbly. So we're gonna add more water. So my hypothesis is it will get fizzy and even more bubbly. Let's do a close-up. And I hope you can also listen with your ears and see if you can hear it as well. Okay, I'm gonna pour some in. And listen, do you hear it? So I hear a lot of fizzing, foamy bubbles. actually melting. It kind of looks like it, right? The chemistry behind this fun experiment. The base of the baking soda and the acid from our citric acid combine to form this gas that we can see with our eyes. It looks like bubbles. And we can hear it with our ears. It sounds like fizzing. This gas is called carbon dioxide. So when we place it into the water, this chemical reaction happens and the carbon dioxide causes the fizzing, foamy, and fun bubbles. In other words, the water dissolves the acid and baking soda, allowing them to mix at a microscopic level. Ooh, and I can see tiny little bubbles in there if you look closely. The acid and base reaction produces tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide gas, which produces the fizzing and the bubbling, and it's almost gone. Our chemical reaction is a change in a substance that creates something new. Neutralization is the act of stopping something from having an effect or becoming neutral. And another word for baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. And so, it's gone, but I do see it's like some tiny little bubbles in there still. I don't know if you can see those tiny little bubbles. It actually looks really pretty. It almost looks like stars in the night sky. And acid plus base equals neutralization. Neutralization. And Eden got into some of this. She has some on her mouth. Oh no, food coloring! I hope you had fun with this bath bomb experiment. I would love to see pictures of your finished bath bombs in the classroom, especially if they have sprinkles. I wish I had sprinkles in mine today, and I hope you have a wonderful time using science and a chemical reaction in your bathtub with carbon dioxide. See you next time.